Hello, my crafty friends. Today we're going to age some envelopes to alter them. Um, and I haven't done any of these techniques on envelopes before. Um, I have aged things with patterned paper. I've aged things with tea bags, but not envelopes. So we're going to try that. I've coffee dyed paper. Well, we're going to do a quick version of that. And then we're going to use Distress Oxide ink pads and do one that way too. I think I'm going to start with the coffee one, and I'm going to do this that just, you know, like this. And we're just going to, I did put some wax paper inside so that it wouldn't stick together, hopefully. Okay, now we've got that. And I'm just going to go ahead and take this and move it aside. And I don't know if it'll dry um, before we get through here or not. But anyway, that's one quick easy way to age an envelope is just like that. Let me put this coffee back up. I might decide I want to use it another time. And then if you do it with the pattern paper, we're just going to kind of use some of my homemade Mod Podge here. And we're going to put the pattern paper right onto the envelope. And I'm going to do the side first. And I'm trying to do this where I don't have, I think I got it right on there. Well, I was trying to not get any of the pattern ink on it. So it's just the color and not, you wouldn't know it was a pattern piece, I guess is what I'm saying, because it doesn't have the ink. But I think I got a little bit of it anyway. And we're gonna let that one go over here and dry too. We're gonna be doing a lot of drying. I'm doing all these first that are gluey so hopefully they can dry and we can come back to them. Now on this one, the little tip of this won't, this tea bag's not gonna be quite big enough to get that tip, but that's okay. We'll just put it on and then we'll just add a little piece right there. Not a big deal. But we're going to do it the same way we did with the pattern paper. Just put glue on here and glue it down. And I'm going to put this as close to the edge as I can. See, we almost got it. It's just a tiny little piece that's not covered. Let's go ahead and take a little bit off of this this one and cover that. Okay. We're going to have to let this dry some before we can even turn it over to do the other side. Same thing with the pattern paper. I'll stick this under there to get it out of the way for now while we let this dry. And now we're going to play a little bit with the Distress Oxides. And I'm going to just play around. I've never done this at all with these, so this whole technique is kind of new to me. But I know there are ways you can put Distress Oxides on there and then put water on it and make it pull off some, kind of like watercolor. And I'm hoping that it will end up looking somewhat distressed. I'm going to start, I think, with Antique Linen. And we may just do browns for this first one. Oh, helps if I have a thing on it. Don't do that. And just, you know, the ink itself antiques it some. We do that all the time with, you know, that's what we use ink for around everything, is to age it. But I'm hoping that it'll give it a little more character to use the Distress Oxides and some water. And I may even let my water be coffee. That would be interesting. Maybe on one side I'll use coffee and on the other side I'll just use water, and we'll see what the difference is. Okay. Trying to decide if I want to put, I think I do want to put a little bit of something else that's not brown on it, just in some places. We'll see. This, we might like it, we might not, I don't know. I'm going to use walnut. I think espresso is too dark, maybe. I really didn't want circles, but we got circles all over this. Okay. I don't really like that color. Let's try something different on the other side. Let's go ahead and do the walnut and then do some just the walnut and the Antique Linen, and not use that wild honey. That was way oranger than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. get some of that off my hands. All right, let's just use a little bit of water on this side, and then we'll use coffee on the other side. I'm trying to use some kind of big drips rather than a splatter from the spray. I mean, the spray I think would be all right. We're just gonna let it sit there a minute. And supposedly, when you put water on it and you let it sit a minute and then you daub it off, it pulls up some of the ink and leaves, you know, splotchiness. So I'm hoping it'll work. But if it doesn't, you will see that it doesn't here on the experiment channel. Sorry, I didn't do more zooming in earlier. All right, let's just see. We pull. If it, oh, it did. Looky there. All right, well, let's try it with coffee on this side and see if it. And I'm just gonna dip my hand in here and go. All right, and we're gonna let that sit a minute. Clean up my coffee jar. And this may not be anything different than just putting the water on it. I don't know. Okay. I may have let it sit too long because it just pretty much pulled it all up, didn't it? Well, that's what that technique looks like. If you like that, yay. And if you don't, then now you know not to try it. But it didn't leave any coffee look behind. Maybe coffee dyed paper with this on top would look better. I don't know. But now we know how that works. Now we could, I'm tempted to just see if we can get this wet and I don't think it'll hurt anything, just kind of rub it across and see. Okay, I think that actually looks better. I took off some of that. I think I do like that better. Okay, let's do it with this side and see if it. That makes those spots way more subtle, and I think I like that better. So we'll let this dry, and then we'll see what how it looks after it's dry. Okay, I'm just gonna pat this. This is the one we just painted coffee onto it. And that's That looks more like an aged envelope, doesn't it? It's not as dark as the other one. We're going to let this dry some more too, and then we'll compare them with the other ones. Oh, sorry. Let's see if the ones we glued on are ready to turn over. Okay. This one's not really dry yet. I'm going to pause just a second and dry it with my heat gun. Okay. I think that's dry enough that we can turn it over, and we're just going to glue this up here, and I'm going to take that off. All right, now I've got that wax paper in here, remember, so I'm going to let this go ahead and go up further than it really has to, and then we'll try to cut that off afterwards. I think we can do it. Okay. Get my glue back. And I'm going to try not to get glue too much under that, because oh well, I did some. Oh well. Hopefully it'll come off. Oh, I started to. Okay, let's put a little bit more on this side. Okay, we're going to let this dry, and we're going to check on the coffee filter one. I mean tea filter one. Tea bag, whatever. Okay, this one's going to have to be dried too, so um, I'm going to pause and dry it, and I'll be right back. Okay, now this is what it looks like right now. We're going to go ahead and put one on this side, and then we will see if I can straighten that out. And then we will trim it off. Okay. And I hope that trimming it'll work. Like I said, you're just watching me experiment. And I do have wax paper inside this one too. Whoa, come back. I'm going to add a little bit more glue on top. Okay. Oh, there it is. My makeshift cover. Okay. I'm going to just sit this one right up here. Well, actually, I think it'll dry faster back here. So let's buy the air conditioner. Okay, everything else is still damp, so I'm going to pause for a little bit and let it dry, and then I'll be back. Okay, this is the one with the coffee, and I think it's aged pretty effectively. This is the one with the inks, and I think I just used way too much ink. So while we're waiting on the other things to dry, I'm going to play with the inks a little bit again. And we're just gonna use the antique linen so that we can do maybe make it maybe this will be a little more realistic. I don't know. Oops, get back in there. We're gonna need you in a second. I did like the way that it looked when I just dropped the coffee with my fingers. Even we just won't leave it as long because I don't really want to take it all the way down, but it looked more natural than the using the water from the little plastic thingy. I do think I want to try one other thing though. I do want to add maybe a little bit of the walnut just to like the edges here and maybe right here and around the outside, because they do tend to age around the edges more than in the center. So I think if we, oh, that's not it. Wrong one. Okay, see if this is it. Yeah, you can still, there's still a little bit of ink on there, so it can. Now we could do that, you know, after we do the other, but okay. Let's get that coffee back out here. And the paper towel. Okay, this time I didn't leave it very long. See if I did it too quickly or. Okay, you can see a little bit of lighter spots in there. I'm wondering what it would do to put the coffee on there and just leave it and let it dry. Um, let it actually dry with the coffee on it. But that would be coffee staining. That wouldn't be distress ink. So you can see a little bit, but it's not as natural looking, I don't think, personally, as the coffee. That looks more natural to me. Um, that one almost looks molded. We don't want a molded molded envelope. uh, I'm sure we can decorate it up and it'll be fine as a background, but I don't know how much I like it as trying to age the envelope. Okay. I'll be back when those others are dry and show those to you. Okay. Here's the one with the pattern paper on it. And make sure that's not going to stick to anything. Let's go ahead and take this, well, if we can. All right. We'll take that paper out. And I started trying to see if I could just tear this off. And I think you can. But envelopes usually are not raggedy like that, so it's probably better to cut it off. So let's get that out of the way. And these. Now probably, I'll probably go ahead and ink around the edges, but I am going to tear this. I think it's easier, and it's going to be, when you shut the envelope, it's, you're not going to see that it's torn instead of cut. I think it'll be easier to do. Okay. Let's see, one thing. I'm going to use the archival ink. And I think I might can run over some of those wrinkles. Maybe a little bit. Excuse me, just a moment. Now, I wish I had really managed to miss that being on there. I think I would like it better. But that's the kind of thing you figure out, you know, I tried. I just accidentally got it too close. And if I did, you know, a bunch of them, I could probably get to the point where I don't do things like that. But anyway, so there's an aged envelope. So we've got the coffee, which obviously works nicely. We've been doing coffee stained envelopes for a long time, or tea. No, this is coffee. And then this is the putting the pattern paper over it. It does gives it a good feel. And then we've got the Distress Oxide, which is okay, but I don't like it as much as the other ones. And then here is the, let's shut that up for a minute, the tea bags. And we'll just trim it up. And now all of these, you know, if you decorate them and put lace and all that kind of stuff like people do, you know, to decorate, make them Victorian looking or whatever. But what I was really aiming for was something that would just look like an old envelope that you could put like just write an address on it, maybe to your grandmother or something like that, and put an old stamp on it and just let it be, you know, kind of an envelope without making it all decorated up. That was kind of my thought behind this. Well, that one looks very old, doesn't it? I kind of like this if the tea stain on the tea bags was maybe not quite as prominent. And I could have rinsed those tea bags out after I took the tea grinds out of them and made it that way. Maybe I'll try that sometime and see. But I didn't this time, so. I just thought it might be fun to have what looks like real letters in a journal sometime that wasn't, you know, wasn't all prettied up, just a stamp and the name and that kind of thing. That's what I was thinking. Okay, so there's that one and this one. And I don't know if this one will get better or worse if I ink it up here, but we're going to go ahead because I have to ink everything. And it won't hurt it, I don't think, at this point. It won't hurt it at this point. And here's the other one of those. And I think that if you had a light brown, something between the walnut and that antique linen, it might work better. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it on the coffee stained one too, just because It'll kind of give it that look like it's aged more around the edges. Besides, I'm a mixed media person. I can't just do one thing. And I'm thinking, let's see if we can. There. Okay. Well, I bet y'all can come up with some more ways to age your envelopes. And then besides these. But this is what I thought about today while I was trying to think about making, you know, just old envelopes. Now, I could just put some stamps on them real quick. Let's see what we've got. Not those. Those are too new. We want some from let's look in here. Let me back out just a little bit. I'm zoomed in where you can't even, there we go. There is such a thing as too close, I think. Now this would look good on one of these because it's almost the right color for this one or this one. Almost that one. It shows up a little more on that one. I think that looks pretty good. I think it actually shows up the least here. So let's just put it on there. We'll be one step closer to doing something with this envelope. Maybe I'll put a letter. I mean, maybe it'll go to one of the Bentley girls in that Bentley girls journal that I need to get back to working on. All right, so let's put that one right there. You can tell that it's not part of it, but it actually looks pretty good on this one. Let's just do this. Let's just do this. It's not a perfect match, but close enough for pretend, right? Okay, there's that one. Let's see what this one. I think that one, maybe if we tear it down a little closer. Or on this one. I think I'm going to put them on here. Go. Let's see if we can. There we go. Okay, so we've got 3 of them so far. Let's see if we can find something for these other 2. Now that one looks pretty good there. The General Federation of Women's Clubs from 1966. Okay, so we've got these 4. Let's see. And let's see what we can find for this one. That one's possible. That one's possible. Here we have a stamp that you can barely see what's behind it at all. That might be the best way to go for this one. And here we have one that doesn't have anything behind it. Let's put that one on there. It's just the stamp with the, cancellation marks across it. Ooh, let's put it right side up at least. Okay. So here we go. We just need to put some addresses and stuff on these so that they look like they were coming to somebody. I think that's fun. God bless you. Get out some envelopes and play. Bye-bye.